Can we actually start from the first question? I don't know why I just got emotional right now. Cool. Yeah, I started talking about my dad, and I was just like, fuck. I think I need to say what was on my heart that I didn't say, and so like it's gonna make a lot of sense to what we're gonna get into. So go ahead. Who am I? Well, my name is Alejandro Sanchez. My family knows me as Alex Sanchez. The community knows me as Alex. I am a father. I am a son. I am a brother. I am somebody who was broken for a lot of years growing up, and who's going through the healing process of trying to better myself and trying to better my surroundings. Community to me growing up was an enemy. Somebody I didn't trust, something I didn't trust. It wasn't there. As far as family, now family was something different. You know, growing up with all my cousins, and you know, my mom being a single mother, most of my aunts being a single mothers. Like my mom had many sisters and a couple brothers, and you know, we grew up in a migrant camp field right across the bridge from Mount Vernon, and my aunts would go work in the fields, and my mom would take care of all my cousins. So just a house full of cousins, and then we grew up and we started hitting the system. My dad wasn't in the picture. He passed away when I was 2. So growing up, I had an anger, and I had trying to figure out what that anger was, and you know, just seeing pictures of my dad, you know, federal prison pictures, and not getting the opportunity or the blessing to hear his voice. You know, I still asked for that. I was 2 years old and he passed away. So I think a lot of that growing up was, I hated that man. I hated him for not being here. And so the thought of hating somebody who was no longer here and I never got to meet really fucked me up, you know? Having that hatred, you know, and growing up, life really wasn't that fair. You know, opportunities, programs, school, like we didn't get the same treatment. You know, we were on the back burner, we're on the outskirts. You know, little Chicano, Mexican American boy from the ghetto, like, yeah, you get in the back of the line pretty much, you know? Watching other people, you know, with their dads and get advice from their dads, and I'm looking up to my role models were, you know, full of tattoos and going to prison and you know, living that life. Those were my role models. So watching other people have dads and, you know, they're in sports and, you know, bringing their dads to school, like, that upset me, you know? So when people ask me, you know, when they brought up, where's your dad, you know, I'd be like, fuck you, like, that's how I feel about that. And so that was a lot of pain. I didn't want to feel that pain, so I inflicted pain on others. You know, I'd rather see you hurt than me. I've been hurting my whole life. When I was in middle school, you know, I was trying to be a part of the family, trying to get in where I fit in, where I was accepted. And the place where I was accepted was where all my family and all my cousins and all my friends were ending up in prison, you know? I couldn't wait to get there. I couldn't wait to get locked up, you know? I knew it was gonna be a big family reunion. So mentally, I was prepared to go to prison at a young age, and I didn't have any positive role models, whether it was in the school system or anywhere else, that said, hey, you shouldn't think like that, like there's another alternative. It was more like, go get it. So I went and got it. So in and out of the juvenile system, I flunked 7th grade. So I had to do 7th grade twice. Did like 3/4 of 8th grade, they passed me, and then I did like 2 months of high school. And then went to juvie, got my GD in juvenile hall, got out, and then in and out of jail until I hit the prison system, and went to prison for 15 months, came home for 4 months, went back for a decade. You know, the system was easy to get into, and it was waiting for me, and I wanted it. I wanted it, man. That was my reality. It was easier to get into prison than for me to get accepted in some kind of program or after school program. Like it was way easier to go that route. They had a free ticket for me, man. I was willing to take it. So I didn't have nobody else on the backside saying, hey, nah, we got something better for you. That wasn't offered to me. My cousin would go to prison, come home. Then I'd get locked up, he'd come home, and it was just hit and miss. You know, we were missing each other. We were lost in the system. It was community, like to me, community is my barrio. My barrio means my community, my neighborhood, my hood, you know, where I grew up, where we shared blood, sweat, and tears together, where we suffered together, where, you know, we were going to war with our own kind, you know. I'm not proud to say that, it sucks, but I mean, that was the reality. It was kind of like, to me, it was kind of like everybody else got opportunities, and if you were Mexican around here, like, they didn't care. Like, let them go at it, let them destroy each other, you know, and it was like that for a long time. So I really didn't have trust in the wider community if it wasn't part of my tight-knit family. I'm real big on that. I'm real big on family here in the community because I was tired of losing. I'm tired of losing close friends and family. And when I went to prison, that was the normal, calling home and then my brother answering and saying, hey, have you talked to anybody yet? And I always knew what that meant, you know, somebody else passed away or watching the news, and one of my little buddies was on the news, he just passed away. And I think there's a lot of pain and like that fear of like, if I go back into the underground or back into that darkness, you know, I'm gonna continue to lose my family. I think now the way I look at it now and the way I perceive it is, I didn't have to hold on to that pain. None of that shit was my fault. It wasn't his fault. You know, my dad was in addiction, and he was living a certain lifestyle, and you know, life wasn't fair for him either. Just like it hasn't been fair for me. Could be the color of my skin, you know. Could be my background. Could be my roots. You know, I came to terms that, you know, I need to accept the fact that my hatred is for nothing. Fuck am I hating? What am I hating for? You know, it's time to love, because I've been destroying myself and then digging myself deeper into losing myself. You know, so finally let that go and started finding myself and started feeling my heart, and I was like, all right, this is what love is. Let me share this shit. Like being vulnerable, being able to be vulnerable, that was unheard of. I mean, I think with a lot of men coming through the system or in gangs, like that's unheard of. You're not allowed to be vulnerable. It's a sign of weakness. So when I was able to tap into that, I was like, all right, well, this is me. This is the authentic me. So I'm gonna set the stage. You know, I'm gonna lead with vulnerability, and I'm gonna set the stage. You know, this is me. This is who I am. I'm not hiding nothing. So let's get it. And so, lead with vulnerability always, it lets me know that my authentic self is standing in front of you, and this is me. Are you gonna accept me or not? Because if you're not gonna accept me, then I can easily just say fuck you and keep it pushing. Because I'm gonna continue on my journey. I'm gonna continue to heal, and I'm gonna continue to open up doors. That's what I'm gonna do. So leading with vulnerability really is the key to my heart. It is what leads me. It's what drives me. And with religion, how does religion come into play with it? I mean, to me, religion was growing up. You know, my mom was Catholic. You know, dragged me along to Catholic churches and stuff like that. When I say dragged me, I'm literally dragged me. I didn't want to be there. And so, I mean, I have my rosary. You know, my mom embedded this into me. My culture embedded it into me. So I don't let it go. I go to a Christian church. I, me personally, like, I don't believe in titles. Like, you got to be Catholic, you got to be Christian, you got to be this. Like, the God that I believe in will be walking down the road and be like, "What's up, homie? Like, you want to get something to eat?" That's the God I believe in. And so I speak to him in my way, knowing that I let go of a lifestyle that had me captured. Of course, I had to rebuild a home. The lifestyle I was living, the streets, like, that was my home. I had to let that go. So I had to rebuild a home in many ways, you know, set my boundaries within myself, learn how to move forward in life a different way, learn how to get over my destructive behaviors, destructive thoughts, destructive emotions in a different way. And that in itself was setting the foundation to building my new home. To me, the most valuable thing in my life at this point is being able to hold myself accountable, having that accountability. And like the way I parent, because I mean, yeah, my brother in a way kind of raised me, but I mean, it wasn't all positive stuff. And so I'm kind of guessing how a father would be or how my dad would be. And so I look to the positive role models in my life right now, and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna gather up all this information without cramping on my pockets, and I'm gonna use what I can to be a father and then hold myself accountable. My son was 2 when I went to prison, and he was 12 when I came home. He just turned 17, and I learned a lot from him. You know, I came home and I was like forcing myself into his life, and I'm like, come on, man, we got to catch up. There's a lot of catching up to do. Like, I barely heard from you. I didn't get no letters, and so recently I reached out to him, and I'm like, hey, like, what memories do you have of me? Like, let's talk about that. Let's chop it up for old time's sake, you know? And his response was, Dad, you're a stranger to me. You know, even to now, like, I see you, you're my dad, but I don't have any memories of you. I was too young to have any memories. So when you came home, you were a total stranger. But you're doing your part. He's like, you're doing a great job. He's like, I'm a teenager who's trying to figure it out. Respect that. I have my boundaries. Let's do this together. So, I mean, I hold accountability, because I can hold myself accountable for where we're wrong and how that happened. And also healthy relationships, learning how to maintain healthy relationships. Do I know how loved, supported, and appreciated I am in this community? I do. I can honestly say that. And I struggle and I battle with that, because even though I'm on this journey and I'm helping others out and I'm doing prison reintegration, I struggle. My mind's fucked up at times, man. And so I still got that thought of, like, is this love real? I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, am I being set up? They're just setting me up. Or is it just like, hey, we appreciate what you're doing for now. Yeah, man, I feel the love. I think I'm just continue to battle demons within myself that's preventing me to really accept it, but little by little I'm accepting it. And honestly, like, both to myself and my younger son at the time, and my younger self, because in a way they both had absent fathers, right? My son was 2 when I left, but before that, like, I didn't spend that much time with him. I was in the streets, I was gangbanging, I was in addiction, in and out of the system. I was kind of a stop and go dad. Like, I just stopped by and say hi, you know? I'd say, don't let your heart fill up with anger. Like, it's gonna be all right. The people who are supposed to love you are here around you. You know, you are loved. You do matter, and you're young, brown, and beautiful, man.